go! I'm so excited. God bless you. Oh my God. Has been a great month. You know why this has been a great month? It's been a great month because we've been celebrating women. And I believe that as it relates to women, everything that is in the earth realm as it relates to man had a woman connected. And so I believe that's a great work. And so tonight we are excited to have this special soul session to speak with a woman that I know knows something about great in the earth realm. So this is our sister Alfredia Lee. I want to say that she is phenomenal, phenomenal. I could say she's wife, she's mother, she's author, she's educator. She is Alpha Kappa Alpha Incorporated. Yeah, I know, sorority incorporated, all of that. But more than that, she is the great coach. And so tonight, I want us to have a conversation about just what it means to live the great life. And so I want to encourage you, if you are someone that's possibly been stuck in a rut, or you know someone that's possibly been stuck in a rut, what you want to do right now is share or say, hey, come on, you got to get in on this conversation. And so we tonight take great delight in welcoming for the first time, not the last time, our sister Alfredia Lee. Yay!
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm
I am
super excited.
so honored and I'm humbled. I really am.
Oh,
Thank you
wow.
so much.
No, God bless you. Let me tell you, one of the things that I'm super, super, super impressed with, I'm impressed with the grace over your life, not just the grace, but the great over your life and how you partner with your husband. I'm always, always, always excited to see husband, wife, kingdom partnership in the earth realm. And so I see just about 3 decades. That's a long time. That's a lifetime. And so I want to say hats off to you first for just your marriage, your partnership, and your kingdom work that you've been doing for a long time. I think that's incredible, especially when we start talking about being great as a woman. Many times people feel like if you are accompanied by a great man, then you can't be a great woman. I say the devil is a lie, and you're living proof of that. Yeah, so I just want to applaud
agree
you.
with that.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about you in your own words. I'd like to know something about you from you.
Well, you've given a few of the adjectives: wife, mother, sister, friend, first lady. But I'm also the CEO of Greater Minds, Inc., and that's a nonprofit, purpose driven 501c3. And our goal is to inspire, educate, train, nurture young people. And so we do that with supporting HISD, ISD. We partner with HISD along with Alvin ISD. And so we go into the schools and we provide tutorials and support to students who are low performing. But we also support the educator to teach them how to provide the services for kids. So in a nutshell, we are just offering greatness all around these school districts.
I love it. I love it. And I know that you were an educator. Are you currently in education, or are you just coaching the educators now?
I'm doing both. I think once you are, if you're a teacher for real, you are a teacher for life, and it's not just in the classroom. It's lifelong teaching and lifelong learning. And so I do them both. I am a certified teacher, but I sort of retired from the classroom setting when my son was born in 2008. I always say the year of Obama.
Okay. I got it. I got it. I got it. Well, that's a great work and a great reason to transition from classroom to, I would say, living room. How about that? To do the work that needs to be done. But God bless you. Listen, I'm here to talk to you because every Sunday, as I'm preparing for church, there is this voice that comes over the airways, and I mean, it begins to cause you to think, and I'm like, what? Wait a minute. And at the end of this profound instruction, or should I say inspiring release, is this tagline: I am Alfredia Lee, your great coach. Yes, I said, what in
Community
the world?
station, 90.9.
Yes. What in the world? I said, not. I mean, like that's. I didn't heard all kind of coaches, but a great coach, I've not heard. I want to know, where did the great coach? Where'd that come from?
People ask me that a lot, and it seems like such a heavy responsibility to be titled great. Okay, let me start there.
Okay.
Because I'm always self-checking and making sure that I'm doing things right and that I'm doing it in the spirit of excellence. But to answer your question, it was almost by default that it became the great coach. I started with, as you said, with my husband, with Greater Vision Church. And I started an after school program by the name of Greater Minds, which is now the name of my business, because I wanted to sow greatness in terms of education into children. And then the Lord would have me. That's a long story. I'm scared to get into it because I don't know if you're going to ask it later. But I ended up going to this lady. I did not know her that well, maybe a month in.
Okay.
And she said to me, I want you to attend this millionaire maker conference. And it was during that time that my grandmother had just passed, maybe like 2 weeks. And my husband went ahead, he encouraged me to go. And so I went to the conference. And while we were there, she said to me, you should write a book. And I was like, a book? I was like, what? I don't have anything to say.
Right.
And so then, like 2 weeks from that conference, we were at a lunch, and someone out the clear blue at Grand Lux, they stopped by my table. They had never seen me before. They were out of state. Wow. And they passed our chair up, and then she backed up, and she was like, I just want to tell you, I can just feel all of this anointing in your area.
Wow.
And so I'm looking at my friend, and she's looking at me, the lady that stopped, and she said, you're going to write books.
Wow.
And we just had a conversation like 2 weeks prior. So anyway, I ended up writing this book, and everything about the book was just talking about how you can discover your greatness through transition and through hardship, and just pushing your mind to believe that you can handle whatever life brings to you. If it's because I dealt with my sister dealing with cancer and believing God that she would be healed, and dealing with my mom being sick, believing God for healing. So I found that you can find the great in everything, great in your prayer life, great in friendships, great in marriage. And so that's where the book and the idea of greatness came from. And I've been at the radio station for a long time, but more behind the scenes with editing and things of that nature. And Ernest became the general manager, and I pitched the idea during 2020 because there was so much darkness in 2020 for everything. It just seemed like every day we were hearing how many people were dying and how many people had COVID, and we needed the machines to keep them alive. And I was like, God, we need something positive. And I pitched the idea, and there you have it.
Wow. That is an interesting story, because you've just told so many things. Number one,
many. And I do that. I'm so sorry.
No.
A to Z plus.
No, let me tell you. But when you're working with a mind like mine and that ADHD that I have, it goes all the way with you. So it's no problem. But what I heard you say was, here is great. You said great is everywhere. That's what you said. Great is everywhere. The issue is not if great is everywhere. It's learning how to discover great. And I heard you say that you have been at KTSU for a long time.
A very long time. Undergrad.
Okay. So here we are again talking about great being everywhere all the time. It's not about if it's there. It's about it being exposed, about you allowing it to be manifested. And so even in your own experience, here we are again, understanding that Where you are does not limit who you are.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's where I'm trying to get.
Mm-hmm.
So do you, with this great, let's do this. Let me stop. What do you explain great as? What is great? Because we start talking about great is everywhere, great is in everything. What is great to you? What does that mean?
That's a very good question. I do believe that everyone has the potential to be great. Let me start
Okay.
there.
Why
Great,
is that? Why is that?
because greatness is on the inside, as you just said, and it's sitting there, sometime needing that push
Hmm.
to just come out.
Hmm.
Um, Great is a higher quality. I much rather higher quality than lower quality, right?
Absolutely. Right.
Um, I by no means want anyone to feel intimidated by the idea of greatness, because your great may not be my great,
Absolutely.
and
Hmm.
my great may not be yours.
Right.
I shared with a friend of mine who, in fact, it's in my book. We were about to go to the track, and they prepared to, do their normal run, which is their great. Okay, that was not my great. All right, just me going to the track was
That
the
was yo.
great.
I
Okay,
got it. Yes, ma'am.
and then of course I built up to that. So great is just synonymous of important, prominent, considerable,
I love it.
wonderful, amazing. Those are
And
all
everyone
adjectives.
and everyone is made great. And so if we dump a 1 point right there, it's to make sure that every person is reminded that you are great.
Absolutely.
Not just that you possess the great, but that you are great.
And listen, that's a good point, because when I started to tutor kids who were low performers,
Hmm.
what I noticed was, and I think I may have put this in my book, I'm not sure, but when they are already low performers, the confidence isn't there.
Right.
So you have to work on building their confidence. And I'm like, I've taught all this time. You got me. So
Right.
because you have me, you're
Right.
going to pass the test. We're
Right.
not we're not doing 40s and 50s and whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, you're going to pass and you're going to make an A. So
Wow.
when I would tell them that, you can see the expressions. There's excitement, but at the same time, there was apprehension and fear,
Right.
because they may not have been told that they could ever be
Right.
great. And so, but what I noticed is all the kids would say, but what if I miss two?
Hmm.
But what if I miss three? Can I? And I was like, but let's think about, because you have to think it first,
Hmm.
and then you got to believe it,
Hmm.
and then it can manifest. And so I don't know where I got that from, but it was something that you said that made me think about how you have to push someone to their that level of
Hmm.
greatness.
Hmm. And so um
And I will
this
say, by the way, just me
uh-huh.
being a teacher, that those children did pass. At that time was the tax, and then of
Okay.
course now we're at STAR. And anyone that I service, I like to say that they do great. I'm just big on children, and big on education, and big on making sure that we can pull that out, because that's all. It's just a mindset. It's just
It is.
encouraging young people, and not just young people. There are some people, I don't know, you
Absolutely.
10 years my senior, but even in every age level, we
Every
need to
place.
be, even me. I
Absolutely.
mean, I
Absolutely.
need people to encourage me, and you need
Absolutely.
people around you that can be your cheerleader and say, you got it, girl.
Right. Right. And so that was my next question about this whole coach great. Uh, uh, um, as a child, is was great like a regular companion of your environment, or was it an acquaintance that you later met?
It was regular. And for you to ask that is so crazy because I've thought about this when you're preparing for the interview. I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
what is she going to ask? But I remember as a kid, I don't know if it was in my household or if it was my teachers. I really don't remember,
Mm-hmm.
but I do remember, and I'm going to see if you know this. They would say good, better, best. Have you heard this before? Never let it rest until your good is better
And you're
and your
better.
better is best.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuck with me. And that's why it's so important when you're speaking to people, not just children, but you're sowing good seed.
Right.
Because whatever you sow into somebody, like if you just speak, God, I think you're so amazing,
Right.
then somehow that it does something to the psyche.
Right.
Or even if you say, you're not, I think you are
Right.
trash or whatever it is,
It's dropping.
people,
Mm-hmm.
and what happens is we tend to believe the negative first,
Right.
right?
Right.
One of my favorite movies is Pretty Woman,
Mm-hmm.
and that's in my chapter and one of the books. And I remember Richard Gere telling the prostitute, I can't think of Julia Roberts, I can't remember her character name, but he said, well, why are you still living your life like this? You have so much potential. There's so much that you can do. And she said, well, people always said bad things. And she
Mm.
said, it's easier to believe the bad things.
Right.
And gosh, for me, that meant so much that I can really just share just greatness. Like,
Wow.
just share
Right.
something good and encouraging. It just helps you to just feel better and live better. Even when you
Right.
wake up in the morning and you make affirmations, I am a child of God. I
Right.
am the righteousness of Him.
Right.
I am above and not beneath. I'm the lender. I'm not the borrower. I am more than, you just start
Right.
speaking those things
Right.
and it
Change that
just
energy.
does something on
Yes.
the
Mm-hmm.
inside to you.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. So, this, if you were a athletic coach, there's a particular kind of gear that you dress in. I mean, you'd be identified. If you walked in a room, it'd be clear that you were a coach. My
Okay.
question to you
Hmm.
is, as a great coach, are there things that you believe um, are apparent about great coaches that stick them out when they enter in a room? I don't even know where that came from, but it just
That's
came. So,
good. That's a good question. And let me
Mhm.
say that I don't know if I can base it on just the great coach, but since I carry that title,
Yes,
I do feel like I change the temperature of a room.
I love it.
I think when I walk in and I'm not intimidated by you thinking whatever you think about me, okay?
Okay,
Because I possess kingdom.
I love
I
that.
possess excellence, and I think I become a sponge for that to come back to me.
I love that.
So I think the I think when I go into a room, this is just what I think. I could be
Okay,
wrong. That people will sense um, an esteem that's positive.
right. That's
Uh,
right.
and I like to teach my young girls. I mentor girls from my church, and it's moved further than that into school districts to mentor them in many ways, not just financial, but also to teach them to be okay with being that person that set the
Right,
temperature in the room.
right, right,
I want you to walk in with your head up and not
right,
like you think you're better than anybody,
right.
but that you have a positive mindset and people can see it. Like, you know how you feel when you first get your hair done? You think you all cute
Yes,
and you
yes.
kind of. So I think that's what I bring into a room. I bring positive energy. I would
Okay,
hope that that's what I'm bringing into the
right.
room. positive.
Well, it is, and absolutely a grace that cannot be denied. I've been in the room when you walked in. I mean, a grace that cannot be denied. And a lot of times we don't know how to define properly
Mm,
that aura or that
mm,
energy of grace. But that's
mm,
exactly what it is. And so,
mm.
um,
That's good.
well, when you say great coach, I believe just like any other coach, if you are a coach, then I ought to be able to look at you and know that this is your area of coaching.
Mm-hmm,
And so
mm-hmm,
I would say to you, based upon the grace that the Lord allows over your life, it's
mm-hmm.
absolutely
Oh.
evident. And God bless you. Let me ask you something about this great. Now, did I know you said that the kind of the great coach thing, did someone start calling you that, or did it just kind of like everything else
It
just kind of
really
flow?
just happened because when I wrote the book, Great, okay, I had Greater Minds, which was the after school program. And then I wrote Be Great. And so the lady that did my website, she was like, we need a website name. And so we started playing around with names. And I was like, oh, why don't we do Lee the Great Coach? And then it just kind of, and people started when they see me, and I wasn't aware that they were catching that,
Hmm.
anything
Hmm.
that they would text me, they
Hmm.
would put in cap, great, whatever it was.
Yes. Yes.
I was like, oh, I like that.
Yes.
And so, but you got to live up to that.
Yes.
Yeah, you
And
have to
that's
live
the
up to
other
it.
thing that I wanted to know. Like, you know, uh, uh, taking on such a what I would
Heavy.
call, yes,
Mhm.
what, like, how do you ward off the pressure of knowing that you're great, but then having the responsibility to live great? Because everybody, we can say to everybody, and everybody can watching right now can say, okay, I am great, I know I'm great, and as long
Mhm.
as I know that, and it's just between me and God, we
Yeah.
cool. But once I start wearing t-shirts, and once I
Yeah.
start putting great on everything, what's the pressure with acknowledging your great?
It's a lot of pressure because as soon as you do something that's kind of, it's like representing the kingdom. Like you don't want to make a mistake. You don't
Right.
want to make mistakes, but you don't want to. I remember Evangelist Rogers, my mentor, would say, you want to guard your spirituality with so much integrity.
Mm.
And that is so important to me to guard it, to make
Hmm.
sure that what I speak, it's actually the way I live.
Hmm. Wow.
And
Hmm.
I try to encourage people to just, for real, live their greatness. And
Wow.
whatever that is, let it be great. And
Right.
that's really, greatness is just a spirit to me. This is my
Hmm.
Alfrediaism.
Okay.
It's a level of excellence. That's
Okay.
all greatness is doing it in your way of excellence.
Right. Wow.
Again, it may not be Alfredia's, but
Right.
it's your best.
Right. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And all of us have a best, but we have to learn how to make that contact with ourselves. I want to talk a little bit about your, how do you, now when I say this, how do you not become sidetracked with the responsibility and the great honor that you have as being a wife to such a great man? How do women, and I'm just honestly, how do we connect with a great man and not find ourselves being sidelined or
Hmm.
having no shine? How do we live great with great?
You're really good. No, really, you're really great. Let me say that.
I'm feeling some kind of way. The great
Oh my
coach.
gosh, that's a good question. And it's a very important question because I am my own person.
Mhm.
And I remember feeling like I wasn't, that I kind of was living my world through Pastor Lee, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
It makes
Like,
sense.
I didn't want people to say, this is my pastor's wife.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
I'd rather you say, this is Alfredia Lee, my pastor's wife,
Mm-hmm.
or my pastor's wife, Alfredia Lee,
Right.
because pastor's wife is not my name.
Right.
Alfredia is my name, and I have to have a path of what do I do? What do I bring? I've been hearing this a lot lately. What do you bring to the table? Well, I
That's
bring a
good.
lot to the table.
Right.
I bring a
That's
lot.
good.
Yeah,
That's high five right there.
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
and it's not. I remember even this is off a whole nother subject. Oh my God! But because this is my husband, he came out of he came out of a Baptist church. Okay,
Okay.
I love Baptist churches. That's what my husband's like. But I came out of Kojic, okay? And so that was an issue for my
Yes.
parents when
Of
my
course.
husband asked my hand in marriage, because they're
Right.
traditional
Yes.
Church of God in
Yes.
Christ, okay?
Yes.
So my dad was like, well, son, you have to be equally yoked, you know. So, but anyway, I remember when my mom said, well, you know, when if you marry, you know, Baptist people, the deacons control, they control the
Right.
pastor.
Right.
And I was like, Mom, he's not going to even be a pastor. What are you talking about? You know, because
Wow.
I had no idea.
Right. Right.
I guess the Lord just wouldn't let me see it because I
Wow.
probably would have
Uh-huh.
not wanted to marry.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember this lady when we joined the church. I don't know, some little mother, bless her heart. She said to me, I guess I had a skirt that maybe she didn't feel like was pastor wife-ish. And she said, well, you know, you have to be careful because you're married to the pastor. And I was like, as much as my mom, I mean, the way I grew up, you know, you had to have it
Right.
together. Do you hear me? You know, I
Yes.
wasn't wearing no pants in church. That was just like, you know, you had to have it
Right.
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 And if my mom saw my skirt too short, it was like she would sit in the car and wait.
Absolutely.
So I was just like, what? So, but before I knew it, I was like, well, before I married him, I was saved.
Right. Okay.
So he didn't make
Right.
me
Mm-hmm.
become a
Mm-hmm.
believer. I was
Okay.
that before I met him.
Right.
I had a personality before
Right.
I met him.
Before. Right.
So you have to answer that question, I guess, is that you have to know who you are and walk in that.
Right.
Don't be afraid and don't start hiding behind
That's good.
his great.
That's good. That's
Both
good.
of our lights can shine.
That's good. That
Actually, at the
is,
same time.
wait a minute, hold on, because you about to free somebody and you about to bring a whole lot of sunshine in the earth realm. You said that both of our lights can shine.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said not only can they both shine, but they can shine at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's so important for people to know, because I think that so many women, I'm talking women now, so many women are so unhappy because they have not been clear in their own mind. Sometimes it's not even because some man is not permitting
Listen.
them. It's in their own mind that they cannot shine. And I think that if you really are a light, and you are, I'm talking to you right now, and you
Yeah.
are, and if God has brought you with your mate, and he
Yes.
has, let's go
And
ahead and
he
say,
has.
and he has, then I
Yes.
believe God intends for that to be a greater light, a greater shine,
Wow.
not a dimmer, because the two of
Mm.
you have come together. And so I just think that
That
sometimes
was a good
people don't
message.
understand that.
You don't have to dim your light to
You don't
let
have to.
his shine.
That's good. That
Yeah.
is good.
And
That
when
is
you
good.
said both of those lights, just imagine when you have a lot of lights, how much
Yes.
how much of a
Yes.
glow there is, you
Yes,
know.
penetrate this darkness. Let's go.
Yes,
That's
yes,
what we need. We need these lights to come together and
yeah,
create a greater light. They don't have to
yeah.
be at odds, and there's no issues. I mean, it's always, I love to see power couples, especially power kingdom couples. And then when you are clear that she's not just his wife, but she's a
Hmm.
woman with a God mission, with a good mind, who is coaching the great.
Yes. I
Yes,
love
ma'am.
it. I love
Coaching
it.
the great. Let me ask you now, do you work, is more of your work with children or not necessarily?
Not necessarily.
Is it just with women, girl, kids, or women, or not necessarily?
Not necessarily,
I love that.
because my husband, he does a lot of counseling
Hmm.
and the marital counseling, and women want to know that they want their voice to be heard too. And
Absolutely.
so sometimes in those counseling sessions, they've asked that I would be a part of it, which is great because I have a degree in it as
I
well.
was about to say, can
So
we talk about that? Let's make sure we talk about the fact that you are capable to be a part of those sessions. Yes, I love
yes,
that.
yes. And so, but typically, that's my passion and my heart are young people.
Okay.
And so that's why I mentor
Okay.
graders. Here's another grade.
Yeah.
Graders diamonds. That's what they are.
I
Yes.
love that.
So,
Great as
mhm.
diamonds. I love that. So now let me do this, because I want to make sure we're going to take a break. We're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
But I want everybody to go and get a pen and a pad, and I want you to bring your open mind, because I'm going to ask you to share with us some tips on connecting with your great and then allowing your great to be manifested, connecting and manifesting. And I believe that if you're like me and you can't remember this good information, you just need to write it down or get your phone or
Mhm.
something so that you can remember it. So we're going to take a pause, but then we're going to come back and we're going to make sure that we keep promoting what I would call the great. We'll be right back.
Thank you for tuning into Soul Session with Pastor Tabatha. We need your help to continue spreading the gospel north, south, east, and west. Our mission is to gather the lost and the left and connect them to a purpose-filled life in Christ. And your generosity can help us continue the work. We have 3 ways to give. You can give online at rfchouston.org or via Cash App at $RFC Or you can also give by texting the word REMNATION to 77977. However you choose to support the work, we will be forever grateful for your generosity. And don't forget to join us for Prayer Live online at 12 noon Central Time every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And by the way, if you need a place to worship on Sunday, join us in person at 3303 Orange Street in Houston, Texas, or online at 12 noon Central Time. We would love to worship with you. Now, back to more conversation with Pastor Tabatha and her guest.
Is this okay?
I'm living the
Great life, great life.
That's what I'm saying. That is it. Listen, yeah, you're from the right era. Listen, we are living the great life. And I just really, really, really want to allow those individuals that are connected with us to not be afraid to be great, to not be afraid to embrace what God made you. And I don't care who you are great. You possess the great. And you know what? Not only are you great, not only do you possess the great, but you're able to accomplish the great. And that's really what this whole session is all about, making sure that you never forget that you are and you can. I just love that. I love that. I love that. Let me ask you something, because that's how you pump me up on Sunday. When I go in, they don't know when I hit that sanctuary, I've been had one of them quotes from you, one of those what do you call
Inspirational
those
moment.
inspirational moments. My God, I'm telling you. And they always come, they're scheduled at a particular time. And it's always the same, because I'm always in the restroom, doing my makeup. I promise you, when that moment come on, I stop because I need to listen. You talk about sometimes starting over. I mean, you talk, it's just real. It's just real.
Yeah.
But man, it does something to your soul. And maybe sometimes you don't get an opportunity for people to tell you that your work is being a blessing. I'm telling you,
Thank
your word
you.
pumps me up. I get up, I get out. Let's go. Yes. I want to ask you a quick question about how you get those inspirational moments. Do they come, or is it a, um, a result of something that you've come through and you just jot everything down?
Both.
Okay.
Both. So, yeah, I don't want to give too much information, but yeah, if I've gone through something, I'm writing.
Mhm.
It's really good, and that's another thing. Great. I think
Mhm.
it's important that people write down
Mhm.
just whatever you're feeling, get it out. Even if you're upset with somebody, start writing so you won't text them or call them.
Lord
Write
have
it
mercy.
first.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Well, whoa. Okay. I love that, but you
Yeah.
know, because that's one of the things that I began to practice. I believe I was instructed by the Holy Spirit not to
Mm.
waste anything or to make pain
Mhm.
pay me, and so
Yeah.
everything
Mm.
is a lesson to my life, but it should be lent back to another life. And so anything that I start, you know, my dad's situation, my
Yeah.
situation with everything, it's like write
Yeah.
it. What's the lesson? Write it and then
Yeah.
release it. So I was just wondering because they're
That
so
was good.
powerful and they're so real. I'm like, I wonder if this, you know, Lord, you just downloading her like this, or you know, is this, you
Yeah.
know, okay, I
Many
got it.
times it's an experience.
Hmm.
Many, those are most of them. And then sometimes I hear someone say something,
Hmm.
especially my husband. I get a
Hmm.
lot of nuggets from him.
Of
When
course.
I hear something on a Sunday, I'm like,
Yes.
oh, yeah. And I add that a little bit of what
Yes.
he said. And
Yes.
I get my little inspirations from him and other people that I think are great, especially Oprah.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love to hear her. It's just, even sassy stuff I've heard from like Maxine Waters and
Right.
just little things
Yes.
that Nene Leak say,
Yes.
you just
Yes.
pull it and you
Yes.
make it your own. Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that. So one more time, one of the things that she just said is to make sure that you are processing whatever your experience is. If you process it in one way you process it, you just write it out. Write it
Yeah.
out. I think you just helped a lot of people not send some emails and some texts.
Please. Again, it's um that guarding yourself with integrity.
I love that.
Like, leave that. We do too much, number one, on social
Right.
media, but
Right.
everything you feel, you don't
Don't
have
have
to
to share it.
say.
That's
Okay,
right.
you don't have to share
That's right.
everything you feel.
Right.
And I know I was looking at this, going to help some of those single women. The When they had the what is that show where the woman meets the man, Bachelor,
Okay.
and it was like every one of those guys or girls, whenever they would have this conversation, it was like, well, they're being so vulnerable. And I'm like, you don't want it. That was a lesson for my daughters. I was like, you don't have to share everything.
Stop right there. Let's stop right there. I want you to say that two more times. You
You
don't
don't
say
have
it.
you don't have to share everything. Some of
Right.
that stuff you need to tell God.
Jesus.
Just tell him or write it down. And you'll look at that a year from now and you're like,
I can't
wow,
believe
what
that
was I
foolishness.
thinking?
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. So not everything should be shared. Some
No.
things should be stored, and all things go back and reflect, because I believe they'll release something to you. My God.
Yes.
And when they
That's
release something
good.
to us, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna release something out of us. Get that stuff out of
Yeah,
you. So,
yeah, yeah.
so you
And I
can be
know
your
that
great.
I've heard that. I remember my husband preaching on something, and he said, God will allow you to be in a situation for 5 years to get somebody out in 5 minutes.
Well, I want to be on the 5 minute end.
Yeah,
Jesus. Lord, that's my prayer right now. Oh
yeah.
God, have mercy. I love that. And I love, love, love. I love your husband's ministry. We were
Thank you.
fortunate during our anniversary, our 12th year
Mhm.
anniversary. He came over. Let me tell you something. I'm like,
Mhm.
Jesus, we still trying to pick up wood and stuff.
I love you, honey.
Yes, my Lord, have mercy. It's like, where did he get that from? Okay,
Yeah.
so let me ask you. So I want to talk about that. I want to help somebody because we know that everybody's great, and we
Mhm.
know that sometimes we don't all feel great. And just because I want to make sure that we're clear that just because we don't always do great things or because we don't have a lot of applause or even attention, that doesn't reduce the reality that we're great. Is that right?
That's right. That's right.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, we have our peaks, we have our valleys. Life, who said that? Ain't always been a crystal stair.
Wasn't that Maya Angelou? That wasn't Maya
Yes.
Angelou.
So it's not going to always be rosy. Okay. Just know that as a woman, you just have to know we deal with, like right now, hot flashes. That's a big deal for me. Like I can't even go anywhere without having this little fan. I carry a fan and I'm doing like this here. And it's just so silly to me. But I otherwise I'm gonna be snapping at people. You have to know what you can handle, okay?
Right.
So but when you know, we've heard the statement that when the world gives you lemons, what do you say? You make lemonade.
Lemonade.
But everybody not making lemonade.
Right.
People still keeping with that same lemon.
Right.
And they
Right.
let it, you know, mold.
Wow.
But when we know that we have greatness in us, we got to decide on what we're gonna do with this lemon.
Right.
Maybe I'm not gonna make
Yeah.
lemonade. I might decide to make a lemon pie.
I love it.
But I'm going to do something with it.
I love
I'm
it.
not gonna let it get old.
Right.
I'm not gonna let it stale. I'm not gonna let a relationship because it didn't work out with my friend or with my guy
Right.
friend or whoever, with my job, with my career, whatever it is. I'm going to pull out what I learned. You said that.
Right.
Whatever I learned out that situation. Well, what did I learn? Well, I learned that I'm too vulnerable.
Right.
I give
Right.
too much of myself.
Right.
I'm waiting on him to affirm me. When go ahead and affirm yourself.
Right. Right.
Start speaking that stuff into yourself. You don't
Right.
really need. It's good now. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
I love when my husband tell me that I look. Boo, you look. That's him. Boo.
Yes.
Then I be like, you know. But
Yes.
if he doesn't say it, be
Mhm.
okay with that. That you still got it going on, girl.
Right. Right.
You have beauty all on the inside. And whatever is on the inside, that for real, it really shows up on the outside.
Right.
When you are sad, like I was at this conference, and you try not to get deep, okay? At least I do. Like everything don't have to be deep. However, I don't care where you go. Geography it's no big deal. Like you can be in Jamaica, but you still saved. You still got a gift on the inside. You still
Yes.
anointed. And so
Yes.
you're around these women, and it's like the Lord starts speaking. And I'm like, oh Lord, am I gonna have to minister today? You know, but anyway, I think I got off key. Let me see. So whatever is on the inside, know that I forget the question.
No, well, I'm going to help you because we're in this together. So I think we were just trying to make sure that people understood, especially women, that you don't have to have a spotlight. You don't have to have a platform. You don't have to have an audience or applause to be great, that you are. And what you're saying is whatever's on the inside is there. Is going to show up. And so it doesn't just.
That's
just,
right.
Just
stir up the gift. Stir up the gift, daughter. Stir it up.
I love it. Let's go then. Since we're talking about stirring the gift, and we all have this great. Can you tell me if I said, "Hey, Coach, can you help me navigate? Can you tell me how I can get to my great?" Tell me what you would say. Tell me how you would help us to move to get to our great, to that inside thing.
One, I'm gonna say, clarify what your goals are. You know how at the beginning of the year, everybody seemed like they do a vision board. Okay. And it means nothing if you make this beautiful vision board and this is what I want. Oh, I want this, my career. This is going to be this and that. But there's no execution in it. So we want to clarify our goals. We want to identify possibly what might be holding us back.
Okay.
Clarify your goal. I want to get, let's go to 18-year-old. I think
Okay.
about when my daughter was 18 and she wanted a car, even though she's blessed with a car, but if she wanted a car, okay, how am I going to get the car?
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to steal the car? Or am I going to work for the car? We're going to do one or the other. We got to steal, we got to work. Okay, so we're going to work because we know steal is not it.
Mm-hmm.
So now what? How do I get to paying for a car?
Mm-hmm.
The car is $25,000,
Mm-hmm.
and I only have 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
How do I get the other 2,500 to make the payment? So now we have to vision, we have to plan.
Right.
Write the vision.
I love it.
Make it plain.
I love it.
And it's not just for someone else. That's for you. You're going to have to decide on, okay, I have to do A, B, C, and D. I remember now, I didn't go to school to be a teacher. I went for communication and ended up doing the teaching through a teacher certification program. And I was so overwhelmed with all of everything. And the facilitators say, we want to benchmark ourselves. So you want to take bit by bit. You can't eat the whole pie at one time, or you're going to be sick.
Right.
And you'll be sick with all of what is to come, because I'm a thinker. I'm a metacognitive thinker. I think about thinking, which is bad because you're always in your head.
Yes.
And so you want to make sure that you take just chunks and benchmark yourself.
Okay.
You can't do it all in one day.
Okay.
You may not even be able to do it in a year, to be honest.
Right.
And you can't rush yourself, but you do want to pace yourself because you don't want to get stuck.
Okay.
And even in relationships, don't get stuck. If this is not it, okay.
Let it go.
Off.
No, you're
but
not.
If it's
you
not it, you already know. No one has to come and tell you,
right,
this is not the relationship that I'm in. I don't feel good when I'm in this relationship.
Right.
This makes me feel, if you're not feeling fulfilled, if you've already, talked about this 50 times and you don't see any changes, stop trying to hold on to stuff that's not meant to be. Let it go. Wow. Just let it go. And it seems hard, but I'm telling you, you're going to free yourself. We're now in the 3rd month, and this is for the woman today. Right. I'm telling you, free yourself. I'm not saying just go out and leave if you're married. No, you don't leave your husband. Right. But if you're in a bad relationship, even in a friendship, you don't have to stay in it.
Right.
I got off course, but
no, you didn't. Stay there. Stay there. No. Because this is again a part of tapping into that great. I think it is being honest with where we are. I think that, and if it's a bad place, and these are the things that will hold us bound and keep us from being all that we can be. And so you when you start talking about going in and dealing with your goals, if your goal is to be your best you, outside of your accomplishments, but really sometimes it's our attachments, it's the things that we're thinking, it's all of those things.
Survey your circles.
Sir, I love it. Lord have mercy. So whoa. So we're talking about getting into the place that's going to help us identify, or at least be aware that great exists here, or great is being resisted here. Then
did I say that? That's what you got from that? That was good. Great is being resisted here.
Yeah. And sometimes it is. I mean, the truth is, if we're all great and we're not experiencing or manifesting great, it's not because it's not there. It's because we're resisting it, or it's because we don't know that it exists.
Potential.
That's right.
Tapping into that untapped potential.
Untapped potential. Yeah. Now, let me ask. So do you believe that when we start talking about going in and assessing or identifying goals, you think our inner desires have been given to us to help us serve as a roadmap for our great?
Repeat that question. I'm sorry.
Like, like the desires of our heart, like, the things. So if I'm going
Oh.
inward
Mm-hmm.
to assess, to begin to really, I try and identify my great.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think my goal and my great are in partnership, or I mean, because I'm like, if my desires are just desires, because I don't believe that
Does
they
it
don't.
line up with
Yes, does it line up? Does that?
what's in the plan for me, basically?
Right, right.
Mm, I don't know. And that's another thing. When I talked about clarifying your goal and what you want, I think even in that clarifying, I hate to always sound so churchy or spiritual, but for me, I have to ask God, is this the place I'm supposed to be in?
Okay.
And is he going to come down from the cloud and yell it in your ear? Probably not. But I do believe that he will order your steps.
Absolutely.
I do believe that nothing, and I mean nothing, happens by chance.
Yeah, I'm with that.
And
I
I'm going
believe
to
that.
explain that to you
Hmm.
privately just
Hmm.
from
Hmm.
this meeting.
Hmm.
But nothing happens just by chance. And
Nothing.
so yes, it is aligned, I believe,
Okay.
to your great is aligned to the your life.
Yeah,
I
right. I
believe that
love it. I believe
it's
that.
going to come together.
I
And
believe
when
that.
you get into your secret place, wherever that is, I was told, Alfredia, by Prophet Janet Floyd, make an appointment with God.
Mm.
She said, just like you make an appointment with your getting your
Hmm.
hair done, and then
Hmm.
make an appointment with him. Get that quiet time with him. I promise you, you will never go wrong. If
That's
you
true.
and yeah, we do have to. You can't be so heavenly bound that you're no earthly good,
Right.
okay?
Right.
But you do need God to order your steps, and that's just asking Him. It's just as simple as just saying, what is it that you really want me to do?
That's true.
It's not a rocket science kind of thing, or glory, hallelujah, gonna come down.
Right.
It's just He's gonna speak it to you. And if you're in tune with him,
Right.
he'll have a friend to call you,
Right.
and they will sow into you.
Right.
And that's another thing, like I said, surveying your circle and making sure that you have people not just being a cheerleader, but
Yes.
also holding you accountable.
Yes.
So you want to be around people that are, that I don't want to be the smartest one in the room either.
Right.
I want to be able to have other people to sow into me and guide me, because I
Absolutely.
don't know everything.
Right.
Even with greatness on the inside, we still don't know everything. We're forever learning.
Right. Right. Well, man, what you almost took me right out of my next place, like, because I wanted to know, how do I get in touch with my great, or what do I start doing? You start talking about surveying. You start surveying. Sound like you say
No.
everything. You go in with a flashlight, with a broom, with some gloves. You go in there. You go in that. Go inside and start looking,
Yeah.
searching. And
Yeah.
so we have to be diligent about that. And, I think that sometimes one of the things that happens as we start to go inwardly, honestly looking at our lives, it can scare I almost said it. It can scare you and make you come out of there, but you got to stay in there. And the
Stay
things
in
that you
it.
don't like, clean it up. Don't lie
Yeah.
about it. Don't deny it. Clean it up so that it can help you. Now,
Yeah.
what I'm talking about, manifest,
Yeah.
bring forth that thing that God has permitted our lives to hold, and that's great.
And also, you're not going to be comfortable with status quo. At least I'm not. Like when you start feeling like there's more,
Yes,
then there is more.
I love that.
And be
I love that.
okay. How do I get started? Start.
I love that.
That's what you do. Just start. Like I remember when I first started writing the book, I had a coach. I don't know if you know Kim Beatty. Kim Beatty was my coach.
I
And she
do.
said, Alfredia, just wake up and just start first meditate.
Yes.
And then she said, just start writing.
Yes.
Just, you might write about the weather. You might write how you
Yes.
feel. You just start writing. And look what happened. I
Right.
started talking about prayer
Right.
and the power of it.
Right.
I started talking about my marriage. I started talking
Right.
about the church and
Right.
what we went through. And then that was healing. That was very
Right.
cathartic for me.
Right. Right.
So, yeah. So determine what's holding you back from
Okay.
whatever that on the inside is that, you're trying to discover. And then write down some strategies. Who can I connect with? Who knows a little bit about whatever I want to participate in?
Right.
Because you can't do anything in this world by yourself.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then start moving. Move.
So
Moving.
all of it starts with starting.
Starting.
Everything.
Greatness begins with a start. And
I love
greatness does not have an expiration on the date.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I can't get so old that I'm no longer great.
No.
I love that.
Yeah.
You wait till you get me all the way down here to tell me that.
Yeah.
So can I, since great does not expire?
It doesn't.
Now here's my question. Can I lose being great?
No. That's like losing salvation. You can't lose it. You got it.
Yes.
But now you got to work on it.
Okay.
You have to work. You can't just say, well, I'm saved, and you're not reaching out to mankind. You just say,
right.
Like, and I want to appreciate you for what you do. I had someone to ask me, how did I know you? And I said, well, I just kind of see her in passing, and I've been encouraging her with her dad because
right.
I too am a daughter and a caregiver. And I said, but what I do know, because I really didn't, I knew you through Rodney Vernon.
Right.
Because you came to a church,
right.
I think back then.
Right.
But more than anything is that you're giving spirit.
Wow.
Like for you to give to those people on the street and just having, I think that is like the ultimate. To be able to give of yourself and just trying to help somebody else. That's just like the ultimate. Wow. So I want to appreciate you for doing that. And then of course your fish. But thank you for being such oh, do you all hear the yard man? I'm so sorry.
No, we don't hear the yard man.
Okay.
We're great.
Yes. Because it is so loud. And I didn't put those little earphones on like you. So I forget what I was saying. I got distracted. That's ADHD.
But you still GREAT. How about that?
Thank you.
No, I think it's important again for people to know that we're great. We can't lose great. We may have to stir great so that it doesn't sit still and get stale.
That's right.
And all of us have to take accountability and be responsible for our great. I think if I've not heard you say anything, it's about making sure we are in touch with ourselves, in touch with what we are attaching ourselves to, be intentional.
Intentional. Intentional.
And you said, don't be afraid. You said one of the indicators that, well, this is my way.
You're doing something great or have something great to do.
Is that there you'll have this pull, this something that there's more.
Yeah.
And so
it's something more. It's something more.
Don't push that out. Welcome that, embrace that, let that lead us so that we can really have delivered that great that God is, that greater that God is trying to get to us. So if I'm great and I got a nug or a pull that there's more, then God is trying to get greater to me, more to my great. And so we want to follow that. And following after that may cause what?
A lot. Uncomfortability, fear.
Okay.
Fear.
Mm-hmm.
You got to move fear out the way.
Got to get rid of fear.
That is like, for me, that's the ultimate. Like, I'm nervous about it, pretty much everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask me to, speak somewhere, I get nervous, my stomach turns, but you have to push past that.
Okay.
So you have to move fear out of the way in order to find that great.
Wow. I love that. So I am surveying. I am staying spirit sensitive because my
Yeah.
spirit will tell me that there's more, but I've got to work with my spirit, and then I've got to push past the things that will try and keep me in a
Dormant.
in a dormant place. I got to push past that. If there was one thing, or no, I don't want to say one thing. I want to give you an opportunity to just really encourage someone to move to their great. I don't know where they are. I don't know. I just encourage someone to take the journey of great. I would like for you to do that, and then we're gonna get out of here because I believe that you've just coached me right on. I can't wait. I'm gonna go in there and write my own inspirational moment. But would you take the liberty of coaching someone in about, I'm gonna say, 60 seconds or less into a place that will embrace their great?
Okay. So I want to tell you that you are very important to the world. I want to tell you that whatever hardships that you've had, any type of experiences that would have pulled you away from feeling like you're not worthy of anything. I'm not important. I'm not important to the world. Nothing really matters. I want you to know that you matter. I want you to know that whatever you put your mind to do, you can do it. I want you to push away from the mindset of excuses, because excuses, my mom says this, excuses only benefit the people who make them. So it's not benefiting anyone but you to make the excuse. So push past yourself and pull out the great. And will that come easy like this? No, it may not. It might take months, it might take years, but at least you're putting your foot forward to do the best you can while you can. I'm encouraging you. I'm pulling for you. I know that you can do it. And on this month of Women's Month, I want to encourage you. We have a what do you call it? A Supreme Court justice that's about a woman that's about to become the next Supreme Court on the bench.
Yes.
So I want to encourage you. If she can do it, now I don't know if I'll be able to sit on the bench, but hey, if I put my mind to it, I believe I could. I really do.
That's great.
So I want to just encourage you. One of my great is always putting God first, always treating others the way you want to be treated, having a spirit of excellence. You are the temperature in a room, and don't take any moment for granted. I mean, not one moment. Enjoy and live in that moment, and then love as hard as you can. And that's it.
Oh, wow. Boy, that's a big pill. My Lord God, have mercy. I'm going to get a whole lot of water, but that's going to help us move from dormancy into what I will call something that is impactful in the earth realm. Let me tell you one more time, as we are celebrating women, we salute you, my sister. Thank you for everything that you do in the earth realm to coach great. I want to encourage, can you tell us real quickly where we can get your books, or how do we do that?
Yeah. You can purchase the ebook, can be purchased at barnesandnobles.com. It was published in 2016 and revised in 2021. So that's what I was doing during COVID, was revising my book.
I love that.
And
Give me that name of the book. Give me the name.
Be Great.
Be Great. What time? What? You know what it is.
Be Great.
Great.
Yeah, and then you can also go to my website at www.leethegreatcoach.com.
I love it. There is no excuse to do anything other than to be everything that God has made us, and that's to be great. So one more time, my sister, we salute you,
Thank
the work
you.
you're doing. And I say with that, everybody, let's go and be great.
Look.
Oh, I'm like, no.